Hey there, teeth lovers. Welcome to today's episode where we're going to be talking about something that's a little too normalized in dentistry. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, but I hear all the time people talking about stretching, right? Like I stretch every morning, or I stretch in between patients, or I know I need to stretch more, right? Whatever the case may be, stretching's great, right? But there's a time and a place for it. It's not going to solve all your problems. So today I want to dive into, what the real answer is to reducing pain or alleviating it completely. And I'm actually super excited as well because I have something at the end that I'm going to share with you. So stay tuned and we're going to get to it right now.
Hey there! Welcome to the Lift for Longevity podcast, where our goal is to build our strongest, healthiest body. We all deserve to feel our best, but since we only get one body, we have to make sure to protect it by moving safely and with purpose to prevent pain, injury, and surgery. I'm your host, Brianne, and I'm a fit pro turned business owner and also a girl mom. I'm obsessed with educating and empowering dental pros on how to take care of their body by training efficiently and building the right muscles to prolong their career. I know you're tired of spending time working out but still dealing with annoying aches and pains, getting rid of your pain temporarily only to have it come right back just a few hours later, or feeling like you never have any energy. You wish there was a long-term solution to get rid of your pain for good. Well, I'm here to give you real-life, actionable steps that you can take today to get rid of your pain, say goodbye to quick fixes, and have energy to live a life that you love. So if you're ready to get stronger, enjoy your life outside the operatory, and have longevity in your career, grab yourself a high-protein snack and let's get to it.
All right, so let's get right to it, because if you are a hygienist, you've been told by coworkers or maybe by a PT or chiro or whomever, even the internet, right? Stretch more, right? Or like my client Robin, she was looking into corrective exercises and she's like, Brianne, it's all stretches. I'm like, I know. That's a shitty part, is like stretching and strengthening, they go hand in hand, just like brushing and flossing, right? So you wouldn't prefer a patient that just brushes, right? Obviously that happens all the time, but it's like, you're having to do more work when they come and see you every 6 months or every year or whenever they come, when they decide to, because they're not flossing and doing, that other piece of the puzzle essentially. And this is kind of where I come in to educate and to help hygienists get rid of their pain, because stretching's a temporary fix, right? I have a client, Nicole, actually, she just started and she's killing my program, but she was like, I stretch every morning. And we were going over her stretching, and she has anterior pelvic tilt, which has really tight hamstrings. Her hamstrings are tight because they're weak. They don't need to be stretched. And so she was telling me like, yeah, I do this hamstring stretch. I'm like, okay, well, stop doing that, right? So that's one thing with stretching, is just because the muscle's tight doesn't mean it needs to be stretched. So that's kind of the tricky part as well, and why I like to educate and kind of give my knowledge on hygienists as to what to stretch and what to strengthen. But anyways, back to it. And it essentially is, it's a temporary fix. And I'm sure you feel this, right? You might stretch between patients and it feels great. Or whenever you stretch, you get a little bit of relief, right? But everything goes right back, because essentially what you're doing is you're stretching, say your pecs, you're going to do that doorway stretch, right? You're going to feel a little bit more opened up for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, and everything goes right back. It's because I talk about this all the time. Your body has adapted to this poor posture. So those short and tight muscles are overactive, your pecs, right? And essentially the posterior, say your mid and lower traps, they're weak. Stretching is going to do nothing for them. So basically what we need to do, I said in the beginning, like, it's not a bad thing. It's a part of the puzzle, but the bigger piece of the puzzle and how you're going to get rid of pain long-term is by strengthening those underactive muscles. So, I have people tell me all the time, like, yeah, I do stretches for my PT or my chiro. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Well, like, where is that getting you, right? And I'm not trying to like be negative or like say that you're doing anything wrong, but it's frustrating for me when I hear that doctors are telling people to stretch because it's like they don't know what else to have them do. And it's like, it's essentially a waste of time. And I hate to say that, but without that second piece of the puzzle, strengthening those underactive muscles and the imbalance, nothing's going to change, right? So basically, what I can share with you is, like I said, stretching during patients is great. You're going to get the blood flow. right? Circulation. But essentially, if you want to incorporate stretching, you definitely want to stretch those overactive muscles first and foremost, like in your warm up before any activity. Or I even have patients doing my warm up, which does have stretching included built into it, but it has a whole lot of other things as well before like your work day, right? Before you're working for 8 hours or working on 10 patients or whatever the case may be. Because if you're just stretching, again, it's just like brushing or just flossing without brushing. I don't know who would do that, but I'm just trying to give you an analogy as to we're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Now, I know a lot of hygienists also, they like to do yoga, which technically is stretching in my mind, right? You're not actually building muscle doing yoga, right? You might feel stronger, but it doesn't hit a lot of those really teeny tiny stabilizing muscles or any isolation exercises in muscles. So that's where that lacks when it comes to yoga versus resistance training. Now I'm taking this podcast on a different loop, but on Pilates as well, is like these are more like they'll open you up. But without resistance training properly, we're never going to build that strong, balanced body, fix our muscle imbalances so that A, we get rid of pain, but also that we're able to sit in the op, we're able to sit upright, have that core strength, have that posterior, that upper back strength, glutes and hamstrings, everything. Have that muscle to sustain working, all day, every day, whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days, whatever the case may be. So I know this is going to be a shorter episode actually, but basically I will share with you that when we are stretching those overactive muscles first and then strengthening with resistance training, the underactive muscles, that is going to be the key to getting rid of pain long term. And, there's a lot of muscles in the upper body that I talk about a lot that are overactive and underactive, but then there's a ton in the lower body that get really often overlooked because most hygienists that come to me have neck pain, upper back pain, shoulder pain. They focus more on their upper body pain and they kind of either that it's not in the forefront of their mind because their upper body pain is more prevalent, but they kind of essentially neglect the lower body. Because I always say like, well, do you have any tightness in your lower body? Like, do you stretch your lower body? And they're like, no, I'm good. You're not good, right? If there's, imbalances or, structurally, like if you have rounded shoulders, if you have a rounded thoracic spine, which you do, typically that's why you have pain, it trickles down to the mid, and the lumbar spine always. You just don't notice it. Hence my client Nicole, why her hamstrings felt so tight and her hips, because she has anterior pelvic tilt. And maybe she doesn't have pain, but this is why we really have to make sure that we're stretching the right muscles. The hips are tricky because you can stretch and strengthen them, but then the hamstrings we have to strengthen, right? So it's really kind of a difficult puzzle piece to figure out. This is why I have my Lift for Longevity program. I have everything you need, on a silver platter, and I hand it to you with the education so you know what to stretch and what to strengthen, and you don't have to guess or try and figure it out on your own or, have to modify things in your current routine or group class or whatever it is that you're doing. So what I wanted to share, though, is I'm really excited. I just put together an entire balanced hygienist toolkit with essentially the things that you need to build a balanced body. So there's a couple of muscles in there that you're going to stretch. There's going to be a couple exercises to avoid. There's going to be some other tips and tricks, right? The entire toolkit that you need to start to build a balanced body as a hygienist and feel good. So I will link that in the show notes. So grab your copy. And then I stated at the end there, try all these tips for 4 weeks consecutively. And let me know how you feel. And I'm super excited to hear from you. Shoot me a message on DM. But regardless, that's all I have for you today. Go ahead and grab your copy of a Balanced Hygienist Toolkit, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope you got a takeaway from this episode. And if you did, would you be so kind to share it with another dental pro you think would benefit from it? I know you love learning, and chances are that they do too. Also, I would love to connect with you on Instagram, so go ahead and head over to the Lift for Longevity podcast page or follow me at Built by Brianne. If you shoot me a message saying hello, I will personally respond because I love chatting with dental pros. Before you go, though, I want to let you know that I appreciate you and what you do, and I hope to chat soon. Until next time, stay strong.